Love Island, Season 8, Episode 25, Movie Night Part 1. First, I just want to say I don't like how they put movie nights into two parts, but whatever. So, first it started off with Casey and TT talking, and I kind of was just confused on why they was discussing Bryce and Trinity closing off. I mean, I feel like everybody should only be worried about their couple. It's not just me just aiming at them. I just feel like, what was the point of bringing up to Casey, how do you feel about Bryce being a boyfriend, Trinity being a girlfriend, when that don't have nothing to do with them? Then we get to Anaya and Carl. Sorry, I'm from New Orleans, so it's gonna be a little accent with it. They're having a chat again and say less. Anaya is saying thank you, America, once again for us for us bringing him back. They have a kiss and say less, which I think is so cute. I love that she is exploring him and taking him seriously. I love them together. Then we get to Kenzie. She's telling Dylan that she made out with Gail, which I felt so bad for Gail, but then again, it is still early. Like, he just got there, so I think he should explore. But she really is just messing around with everybody in the villa. I'm over Kenzie. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Dylan told her, he said no need for them to explore anymore. He was gonna go explore. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had said that. So I went to tell Kata. When Dylan was telling Kata, Zach was over there and Dylan started to cry. I felt so bad for him because, he really must like Kenzie. But then again, like, he's a Casa boy, so he just got there. Better him to find out now than later, so I hope he just go and explore. Sincere is having a conversation with Anaya, and Sincere said that he's ready to close off with Mel, which is like, how can you close off with someone when you've been lying to them? I feel like if you want to close off, everything should be out on the table. They should know everything, and y'all should close off on good terms. Sincere and Mel was kind of on a rocky term, and he didn't tell her the truth about pretty much anything. Then we have Kata telling Jen that Kenzie and Gail kissed. And I like that Kata told Jen, because I don't know how long Kenzie was going to wait to tell her. Like, you told Dylan, but you could have been told Jen, who's supposed to be your girl up in there, but how long was you going to take her? Plus, I don't really feel, like, I feel bad. I feel like Jen should have knew. Like, she should have told Jen, but I don't feel like I feel bad for Jen, because her and Jen, when Jen first got up in there, her and Kenzie was talking about Mel. So look how the tables in turn. Your number one girl is now talking to the guy you're coupled up with. So I was kind of shocked when Jen said that she don't know. She think that Kenzie like attention. Kenzie do like attention. Anybody that's giving it to her in there, she's taking it. But once again, Jen, that was your girl. So Jen and Kenzie had a conversation, and Jen said if she wasn't in the villa, she wouldn't be friends to Kenzie. Now, I was surprised that she stood on business and she said it to Kenzie in her face, because in the villa, they always say how they're going to tell people something, and then it's always around the bush. But for her to tell Kenzie that in her face, I was like, okay, Jen. And Sarah starts to show Mel how to say her name in sign language, and I was sitting there like, didn't you just show Amora that in Casa Amor? I was just like, okay, like, you're doing the same thing and you're saying the same thing to every girl. The only girl that you didn't show the sign language to was Soul, but everything else you're doing and saying the same thing. Then they get a text, and I was like, oh, I already know what time it is. It's movie night. Then once they get a text, Zach is trying to tell Kato, oh, I was kissing someone, and then he said he was playing. My thing is that it's not a joke. You was kissing someone. She went home, and you should have been told Kato. Don't tell her now, because whatever you was doing in Casa Amor and whatever you was saying, she's fin to see it on the screen. So you should have been said. Don't try to beat it to the punch now. Plus, Zach being everybody else couple, so I was waiting on this. Let's just fast forward to movie night. Movie night starts, and the first thing they see and the first thing that they are talking about is Zach and the racist girl. And they're looking, and Kata's sitting there looking like she is about to cry, but she's holding in it. And Zach is looking around, looking dumb. And he says that, oh, it was nothing, and a whole bunch of nothing. Then we get to Casey and Anaya. And everything that Casey did then came out. We been knew that this was gonna come out, but it's not finally coming out. Now with the whole Casey and Anaya situation, I am not mad at the fact that Casey explored. I'm happy that he did do that, but I feel like there's a certain way that he should have went about it. He should have not been disrespecting Anaya, bad talking her. Because even though Anaya did explore, she never once bad talked Casey, especially in Casa Amor. She was, oh, I miss Casey, I miss Casey, I miss Casey. Even though I miss Casey, I always tell myself to explore, da 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 da. So, also, when they did say that, even if Casey did not come up in there with TT, Anaya would have been mad anyways. I do feel like that. But then again, it's like when you are feeding lies and telling people, when you're telling someone, oh, you're beautiful, which Anaya is beautiful, but Casey was saying that he had zero connection with her. But before they left, I think they was on like okay terms. And you're feeding all this stuff into her, and now she's seeing how you're acting in Casa Amor through the heart rate challenge, and what y'all saying, how y'all saying the girls are not out the window, and oh, I'm cooked, and all this other stuff. It was like, yeah, so I do see where she's coming from. I do feel like they should let him talk, but when he talks, Casey don't say nothing. Now, some people might look at it as him having a hard time getting his words out, which I do believe. But I feel like if you did it, can nobody explain better than you how you feel and what you're thinking, But I do feel like it was disrespectful how he was dragging her name through the mud while he was over there in Casa Amor. Because like Megan said, you could explore without being disrespectful, and you could also explore without have to put other girls down for other girls to feel uplifted. So while they're having this whole discussion going on and it's getting intense, and Trinity asking him a question and Mel sticking up for her girl, that's when Kata, you could tell Kata was deep in her thoughts, and she was like, hold up, wait a minute. And while Kata is deep in her thoughts, she just had to say it because she kept thinking about it. And she wound up saying, hold on, the Rana girl been left, so if she was here, would you still have picked me? And he said yes. And he was like, I knew this was going to happen. It would never happen if you would have brought it up to her, and she wouldn't have to find out in movie night. I feel like Zach felt like he was trying to play it safe. He wasn't trying to tell her what was going on, because he probably didn't think they was going to do movie night. That's why when they got the text that they was doing movie night, he was like, oh, I was kissing. No, don't try to say it. No, I can't speak for Zach, but I feel if she was there, he probably would have brought her back. I was happy that they clocked that, because I was like, is they gonna find out that she wasn't there and she left? And shout out to the Casa girl Jada, because I think she was the one that actually said it. I think she was the one that was like, oh, she left Casa 2 days in or something like that, which on our screen it was 3 days in. I wish we would have had her for one less episode too. But yeah, I'm so happy that they clocked that and came across that. And Crawling Anaya stuff comes up, and they're talking about how Anaya was exploring, and all the boys are like, oh, and they like, it's double standards, this and that and this. But I'm like, the thing about Anaya is, yes, she did explore, Casey did explore. We're not mad about that. We're mad about how rude he was and disrespectful.